Hey guys, this is Jamie and welcome back to my kitchen. In today's video, I'm going to show you how I decorated this Jack Daniel's themed birthday cake. The last video I posted, I showed you the recipe for the Jack Daniel's infused chocolate cake that I'll be using for this. So if you want to see how to do that, be sure to check it out. I'll put a link in the description for you. So for this video, I'm going to show you how I finish this cake off for the client. So the first thing I'm going to do is stack and fill my cakes. I used 3 8-inch round cakes for this, and I just filled and frosted with the chocolate buttercream. I really wanted the client to be able to taste the Jack Daniel's in it, so I didn't add any additional fillings. And if you guys are liking my videos, be sure to hit like and subscribe to the channel. We are uploading 2 to 3 times a week right now, and I really appreciate the support. So the first thing we're going to do is crumb coat this cake, just a very thin layer of icing all around. Traps in the crumbs so that when you go to do your final coat, it's nice and clean. Once you have the crumb coat on fully, we're going to smooth it out, and then we'll put it in the freezer to fully set. You can also put it in the refrigerator if you have more time. It'll take about 30 to 40 minutes in the refrigerator or about 10 to 15 in the freezer. You just want it to be firm to the touch. So after we pull it out of the freezer, I'm going to do the final coat of buttercream on this. So I'm just adding here a very generous amount of chocolate buttercream to the top and outside of my cake. You always want to add a lot more buttercream than you think you're going to end up using at the end, because then when you smooth it, you take that buttercream off and it leaves you with kind of the perfect amount. If you don't put enough on to start, then when you smooth it, you're gonna keep going down to the naked cake and you're never gonna get a good coverage. So as I smooth out, it's important that you look around and you look for any holes in your frosting, and you just fill those in with more buttercream and then smooth it out again. This is really something that, comes with practice. The more you do it, the more you practice, the better you'll get at it, and you'll get faster and faster every time as well. So then we're gonna put this back in the freezer, and now we're gonna do our chocolate drip. So for this drip, I just used a chocolate ganache. It's equal parts chocolate to heavy whipping cream. Melted in the microwave, and then I just put it in the fridge to thicken up a little bit because I didn't want it super runny. And then I use a squeeze bottle to apply my drips on my cakes. A lot of people use piping bags. You could also just use a spoon if you wanted. I like the control that a squeeze bottle gives me. It really allows me to choose exactly where my drips are going to be and how much pressure I want to add to them. So now we're just going to go through and we're going to add all of our decorations on this cake. This cake is a chocolate overload kind of a theme, so it's going to be covered with a huge pile of different chocolate candies and also a couple Jack Daniel's minis. So the first thing I'm doing here is just kind of creating a base for that Jack Daniel's mini to lean on so that it's standing up to where the client can see it, and then I'm going to build my pile of chocolate around that. So for this, it's important that you use a bunch of different chocolate candies. Don't only use 1 or 2. You want to get the different textures, the different colors, because each one's going to be a slightly different shade of brown, and it just gives you a much better look if you have all the different variations going on there. It's just more interesting. It'll grab the eye, bring it in. People are going to be looking around. I also really love the Ferrero Rochers for this because they have the gold wrapper, which is a nice pop. And I always like to add in a little bit of white chocolate as well. I used some yogurt covered pretzels in this, as well as some white chocolate candies, just to add a little bit of that contrast. And then I'm just gonna go in, add a couple finishing touches with some chocolate buttercream, just to make it look pretty around where I feel like it looks a little bit empty. And then go around on the cake, add a couple stars going all over. This I think looks really cool. It gives it a nice, just a little bit more texture, a little bit more dynamic, but it's also nice to hide some flaws. If you see maybe a crumb that got through your crumb coat that's in your final coat, or if you have a hole in your frosting, just cover it with one of the stars and nobody will know. So now I'm using gold luster dust. I'm not creating a paint out of it. I'm just using the dry dust and a paintbrush. And I'm going through and just adding the gold dust onto some of the chocolate candies just to give it a nice pop of gold, give it a good shimmer. It'll also help bring in those Ferrero Rochers and help kind of tie the whole theme together. And then I am just putting some gold on the brush and flicking it onto the cake. And then you're done. It's that simple. So thanks again for watching, guys. If you like this, remember, hit like and subscribe. Thanks.